Silence, poetry, and listening.
A Barbarian Lunatic production.
Escape the age. Okay, I've just set up a timer. Hello and welcome to this. It's called Enjoying the Bubble. And it talks about... Okay, maybe I'm just supposed to look at the image and just say something to that. Which may be... You know, you're like in your comfort zone, and then outside there's like things trying to get into. This is one of the first works that I did, by the way. And I think before that point I never really was able to enjoy the bubble. Why? Well, quite simple, because I was always feeling drawn to the outside. Because I had no idea how to retreat to the inside. And once you learn, oh wow, this is how you can retreat to the inside, you also realize that this actually holds some possibilities, right? Ideas of self-employment are much more easily turned into reality when you know what it means to be alone, because that's what self-employment is. I mean, self-employment does not necessarily mean that you have to be alone all the time or that nobody can help you, but it basically means that. And that's just tough, if you know what I mean. And sometimes I know what I mean. 2023, 11. You know, I'm doing something else at the same time right now. And then you can ask yourself, why are you doing that for? Well, so that I can, you know, pack a lot of work into fewer sessions, so that I have time in between to do other things and feel good about them. You know, that's basically the idea. It's like doing homework, which is working from home. And at the moment I'm doing a lot of homework. You know, I'm also doing my laundry. That's also homework. Hey, you're a man, you live alone. You want a woman to feel comfortable here? You know, make her feel appreciated. Do your own laundry. So that's also part of enjoying the bubble. To just do laundry and enjoy it. To make yourself a coffee and then do what you want with it. And with that I mean, do something that you like, right? So you learn to fill your own bubble. And you learn to appreciate being in the bubble. The question is, to which extent are you supposed to exclude others from your bubble? Or, you know, is there also an open bubble outside? You know, outside? That's what Jerry says to what was it? Fluffles. And he said, no, my name is not Fluffles, it's my slave name. I am Snowball, because my fur is white and soft. Yeah. Okay, raw art exhibit number... So I enjoy this much more when I can record myself on many different levels. And then I would call that outside the bubble. Right, so there are methods to really enjoy the bubble, and then there are methods to make your bubble a challenge, which is like, for example, you know, you've got food, you've got lots of food, you've got the whole fridge full of food, you know, and when are you going to eat all that? Well, every time you feel boring. Well, how about you stretch things out a little? Instead of drinking 3 coffee a day, you only drink 1. Well, when are you gonna drink it? When is the best moment for you to drink a coffee? Because in your bubble, things are kind of predictable. I mean, sure, sometimes we hear stories that things explode. Just random stuff can happen. Okay, then you gotta deal with it. And just kind of hope that it just won't, right? Because we all rather have a bit of leisure time, you know, relaxation, you know, let's just relax a little, you know, relax into it. It's like the guy on the toilet in also, you know, this in Adventureland where Morty gets to choose an adventure, and you know, he's in the toilet and Mr. Jellybean comes. He says, "Oh, relax, you know, just let it happen. Don't be such a tease," he says. You know, that's the people that I find. Well, all I can say to that, I just find them strange. And that's just exactly my point. I mean, they're just all so strange. And they don't seem to really appreciate me for who I am, which is why I really enjoy my bubble. The question is, how long can I stay in it? And are there times where I should leave the bubble? Or can I just remain in it indefinitely? These are questions that I find meaningful because they allow me to question, you know, my own motivations of staying inside. And my motivation of staying inside is certainly that, to me, everyone I met on the outside is kind of weird. You know, I'm like an observer, I'm some kind of researcher. Only I don't research by looking just at animals, you know, I kind of try to understand humans, because I don't understand them. None of them. You know, I'm like an alien. You know, I came here with a mission. And I became conscious of that mission. Which is why, for me, enjoying the bubble is basically distancing myself enough from other people and then bring together all the information that I have allowed myself to collect in terms of real life experiences, and then making something useful out of this. Okay, what did Christopher as a spiritual voyager, because nobody will ever, spend time with my content who doesn't in some way relate to me. And I think we all know what that means. I mean, you're free to leave, is what it means. You don't have to listen to this, right? So nobody's forcing you to listen to this. You listen to this because you think there's something to learn here. And, so when Terence McKenna said, he asked the mushroom, why are you dumping all of this stuff onto me? Why me? And, the voice that he calls the mushroom said, because you never believed in anything. And what that means is, figure it out for yourself. And that's something the bubble helps me to do, because if I'm in the presence of others, they try to twist my mind into, weird stuff that I don't have to know, right? I don't have to know these things that they want to do. They just want me to do it because then they can make money with it, because they think I have time, because I give them time. And then they think, oh wow, if he has so much time, we can hone him, we can change him into something else. And this episode is running out of time because I'm trying to make these things a little bit shorter. Because what is there really to say about the bubble, right? So I'm certainly trying to make my bubble as enjoyable as I can for myself, because that's where I spend most of my time in, because there's so many becauses. Oh god, what else is there to do? Which means that's how life is at the moment. So enjoying the bubble also has to do with appreciating the fact that the bubble even exists. Because, in prehistoric times there would have simply been no bubble. And I just don't do well with timers. Because, once you start talking, if you weren't sure about talking, then you shouldn't have talked. But, I think I'm sure that I wanted to talk. And I'm still talking. I'm walking here. Hey, it's Cousin Nikki. So, to me, it's simply a way to get back to myself. That's what the bubble means to me. I can get back to myself. I can find new ways to engage with myself, right? I can learn a thing or two that I did not know before. I can sit in quiet meditation if I want to. I can basically experiment, I could smoke as much as I wanted to and just see what happens. But I also have to realize that, you never know what's going to happen. And that's then the reality of my life. Because I'm never quite sure that things are real. Which is why, if you're afraid of that, if that bothers you, I'm not sure that psychedelics are for you. Which is, it's not only what I'm talking about, but as it has shaped me, or it has brought out traits in me that I never would have known exist, I simply talk about it to people who may have faced certain moments and they feel like they're alone and nobody supports them. Well, because, that's how far the bubble can get you. Because most people that I meet, they just seclude themselves all the time in their stupid bubble. And they just walk around and they think it's their right, to have all their little comforts and their whiskey and their Jägermeister and their Netflix and their electricity. But what if that was taken away? Then they would that's preposterous, So I think it's good to know what's outside the bubble. And when you know what's outside the bubble, you can make a conscious choice and ask yourself, well, is that what I wanted for my life? Did I want this? Or what do I want, right? And that's then the no. It's the spiritual voyage. Because it has nothing to do with psychedelics to make choices that are too big for you. They can help, but according to my own perspective, they can also make things really confusing. And at the moment, I feel like I mostly use them so that I can sleep. I don't know, every time I smoke, I just feel sleepy. Which is why I also simply like to do it in my bubble, because if I do it with other people, then I don't know what they're gonna do if I stop paying attention. Right? And that's just a perspective I maintain because I actually like doing my job. If I can manage to get there, and if I can build it up, and then release it into, a number of these kind of sessions where I record. Now I'm standing behind my laptop, which is something you don't see. So you can believe me that I'm standing behind my laptop, or you can doubt it. It's irrelevant to me because it simply is irrelevant. And the reason it is irrelevant is because I'm doing it whether or not other people believe that I'm really doing it. And maybe they're all confused because of AI and they think, well, I don't think he did it by himself. And then you say, well, I don't think it matters what you believe because it's still there. And so you can either take the time and figure out what somebody's trying to say in his own way, because he learned to communicate on a completely different level than, people who just take language for granted and just talk like, just don't even open your mouth. If you can't speak properly, just learn how to speak. And of course, how would you ever learn how to speak if nobody ever teaches you? Which is why I do sometimes leave my bubble, to just also leave my mark on the world. But at the moment I realized there are too many uncertainties, right? And instead of playing around with people on the outside all the time, I just play with myself. Because that makes art. That creates these things. That helps me also get through winter. And that helps me to move on and to let go and to change myself. And maybe summer is for reminding yourself, how nice it can be. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. What really matters is, what are you doing and do you actually like it? I think that's all that matters. So yeah, I disable all my comments. That's part of my bubble. You know, I have no internet here for the moment. That's also part of my bubble, also to learn to be without it, which I think I have managed. So that if I have it again, I can then deal much better with all that stuff on the internet, like including pornography. You know, I know it exists now, but I also know now that I don't need it, just as I know that I don't need sex. You know, I've had more times without sex than with, and that goes for everyone. You know, no matter how much sex you have, you can never have as much sex as you do other things, which is why it's irrelevant whether or not you have sex. Because what I feel like is that sex is certainly a distraction from yourself. And if you're okay with that, and you still want it, you know, go for it. But, you know, that's why I'm just looking for a woman who would be able to bring out the real me. And that would be a woman that also could stand my silence, if you know what I mean. So the safest way to figure out if a woman likes you is to just say nothing. And if she's still there, then you can assume that she probably likes you, because maybe she knows how to communicate without words, and she's true, right? But yeah, so bubble, this is longer again than I thought. I think the bubble itself is just what we have in these times, where truth is basically, you know, seemingly non-existent. I mean, just looking at the people that sit in government, you know, they're all liars. They all have shaven faces. And that's a clear sign for dishonesty. You know, that's politics, I think. Right? That's just how I see it. You know, it's a clear symptom for people who like to act like they're more important than others. And, you know, a beard has to be owned and maintained. And it's a challenge because people try to take it away from you. You know, I really mean that. Because it's intimidating to some men. Because most men that I meet, they don't manage to keep a beard. And that's why I also like the bubble. It's just to understand who I am in all of this. And to distance myself, because I'm also an emotional being. And I'm a spiritual being. And what that means is that if I'm too much in the presence of others and outside during these days, then people are just going to confuse me into believing things that are not my own belief, you know? So I don't, you know, need to spend time with people who think they have to show me videos of stuff that's irrelevant to me. And then act like it's important, because it's not important. Which is why I stopped going there. Simply because I said, you know what the fuck, I mean, I thought this was about being friends, but it was never about that. It was about using me also to get what I wanted, and I'm still not certain about it, and that's the really weird part. That's the really, really weird part. And I just had to accept that for some people it's better to just be in the bubble, because, you know, if you've got something special, people want to take it from you. And I think I have something special, which is not, I mean, it's unique to me. Everyone has something special. But, you know, what is that something? Well, that's hard to answer. Very hard to answer indeed. But it becomes easier if you spend time alone trying to figure it out. You see, I cannot rush these episodes any longer. You know, it started to show in my podcast, which started with kind of 1 hour episodes, and now they're almost 2 all the time. So I'm certainly taking more time for my content, which is why I have way less time for other people. And I'm still occasionally wondering, you know, for what am I doing all of this? And how long can I maintain this? Well, I can only maintain it if I seclude myself, and that's why, yeah, I'm enjoying the bubble. I love the rain. I love the fact that I kind of owe nothing to anyone. Right? So how selfish can you be with yourself, and for how long? Well, I'm not selfish with myself, because I just give myself to the entire world. And there are yogis, I read that in Autobiography of a Yogi. There are yogis that never leave the house. And I can see myself literally, you know, not like never leaving the house, but doing it like Terence McKenna, doing it like other people, such as John Strelicky, you know, who just focuses on his work and on his family. And that's something you have to learn, to see what you have to give for the masses, and not for selfish individuals who want to use your powers to, right, make themselves a better life. You know, I've met these people who talked to me, who thought I had money for some reason, who thought I was going to give them money or invest into them, and I was like, why would I do that? And why should I ever spend time with you again if that's all you're interested in? I mean, you're not interested in, I mean, what am I, the kingpin? You fucking kidding me? So, you know, I like my bubble, believe me. But I've also tried what's outside, you know. It cannot be recommended to everyone. You know, you have to kind of trust your feelings a lot, right? Because people have weird motivations. Anyway, that's longer than I thought it was. Whatever, you know.